He said he'd love her forever. But forever ended the moment she unlocked his phone. One message, and her world burned down in silence. Maya never imagined that the man sleeping next to her every night could be a stranger. He looked peaceful, safe, like home. But that single text, "I miss last night," turned love into poison. When they first met, Ethan made her believe in magic. He wasn't perfect, but he made her feel like life finally made sense. The first time he held her hand, she told herself she was done searching. They built a life that looked beautiful, shared playlists, quiet Sunday mornings, matching coffee mugs. From the outside, they were every couple's dream. From the inside, she was slowly disappearing. It began subtly, shorter calls, fewer good nights, and more excuses. He'd say, "I'm tired," or "Work's been crazy lately." But work doesn't smell like someone else's perfume. Love doesn't feel like absence. She started noticing how he stopped looking at her the same way. The warmth in his voice faded into politeness. His kisses became routines, his hugs rehearsed. Still, she smiled, cooked dinner, waited up for him. Because that's what love does. It makes you stay even when the door's already open. But that night, when she saw that message, something inside her didn't break. It froze. There were no tears, no yelling, just silence. The kind of silence that only exists when your heart already knew the truth. She looked at him sleeping, the same face she once adored, and for the first time she saw a liar. The next morning she made his coffee, just the way he liked, 2 sugars, no cream. She kissed him goodbye. He smiled, thinking everything was fine. He had no idea she'd seen everything. Revenge doesn't always start with rage. Sometimes it starts with calm. Maya spent the next few days pretending. She laughed at his jokes, replied sweetly to his texts, and even planned a surprise birthday party for him. But every smile was part of her design. She started transferring small amounts of money from their joint account to one he didn't know existed. She learned his passwords, his client contacts, even his secrets at work. Ethan had built his career on deals that weren't exactly clean, and she knew it. By the time his birthday came around, she wasn't his wife anymore. She was his reckoning. The party was perfect. Soft lights, expensive wine, everyone he wanted to impress. Maya looked breathtaking, wearing the same dress he said he loved. As everyone sang "Happy Birthday," he grinned like a man untouched by consequence. Then the TV behind him flickered on. Everyone turned, expecting a slideshow of memories. But instead came the truth. A series of screenshots filled the screen. Messages between him and another woman. Hotel bookings. Photos. Proof. The room went silent. The kind of silence that hums in your ears because everyone's too shocked to breathe. Ethan froze. His face went pale. Maya stood still. Calm. Collected. Almost serene. She didn't need to scream. The evidence was louder than any word she could ever say. He tried to speak. "Maya, I can explain." But his voice vanished under the weight of the crowd's whispers, his colleagues, his boss, his friends, all watching him crumble in real time. She simply smiled, lifted her glass, and said, "Happy birthday, Ethan." That night, he didn't go home with her. He didn't know that while the world was watching him fall apart, his career was already burning. Maya had sent every file, every trace of his hidden fraud, directly to his company's legal team. By morning, his access was revoked, his accounts locked, and his reputation gone. When he came home the next day, the apartment was empty. No note, no tears. Just her wedding ring on the table and the faint smell of her perfume fading into the air. He called her dozens of times. She never answered. He texted, begged, apologized, promised to change. But Maya wasn't interested in apologies. She wanted distance. In the weeks that followed, Ethan's life collapsed. He lost his job. His name started circulating in online articles. Friends avoided him. The woman he cheated with? She disappeared too. And Maya? She moved into a small apartment downtown. Quiet place, simple view. Every night she'd sit by the window, watching the city lights, the same lights they once admired together. She'd think about everything she lost, and everything she took back. People say revenge feels good. Maybe it does. But for her, it felt heavy. There was no joy in it, only peace. The kind of peace that comes when you finally stop asking why. One evening, her phone buzzed. Unknown number. A text. "You ruined my life." She stared at it for a long time, then typed, "You ruined it first," and blocked the number. For the first time in years, she slept peacefully. No guilt, no anger, just quiet. Months later, she ran into one of his old friends. He said Ethan had left the city. No one knew where he went. She just nodded, smiled faintly, and said, "I hope he finds what he's looking for." But deep down, she knew he already had. Consequences. Maya learned something people rarely admit. Sometimes, closure doesn't come from forgiveness. It comes from knowing the other person finally understands what they did to you. She didn't destroy him for revenge. She did it because he needed to feel what she felt. That slow, silent collapse of trust. Love had made her soft once. Pain made her strong. But the truth made her free. Now, when people ask why she never remarried, she smiles and says, "Because some stories aren't meant to be repeated." And when she walks through the city, same streets, same lights, she carries nothing from that old life except memory. The kind that doesn't hurt anymore, just teaches. He said he'd love her forever, but forever ended long ago, and she found out too late. But just in time to save herself.